Hello everybody, my name is Kristen Zakor. I am the data coordinator with Texas Homeless Network, and today I'll be walking you through the shelter count training. Let's first take a look at our agenda for today. So we're going to quickly do an overview of the point in time count. We're going to talk about shelter information, how to enter a service, how to run a Pitt report, and lastly, we're going to go over how to use the Counting Us application. So, what is the point in time count? Essentially, the point in time count is a snapshot of how many homeless individuals are in your community on a single day. This year, the point in time count will be conducted on January 25th. So, what the point in time count does is it looks at all of the individuals who are experiencing homelessness on January 25th. So, once again, it's a snapshot of that number. On the local level, the point in time count helps communities plan services and programs to appropriately address local needs, measure the progress in decreasing homelessness. So we're able to, for those communities that conduct the point in time count year to year, we're able to kind of do a comparison throughout the years to seeing how what the difference is, if we're increasing or decreasing the number of homeless individuals in our community, or if we're moving towards that goal of truly ending homelessness within the area. And it also helps identify strengths and gaps in a community's current homelessness assistance system. So, the point in time count data is extremely vital, not only for the communities themselves that are conducting this count, but also statewide and also nationwide. It helps us just gain a better understanding of the situation. Of individuals experiencing homelessness within the community, the state, and the nation. So this is extremely valuable data, and it helps on many different levels. Help us reach that goal of ending homelessness. So why is it that we count? So, for those communities that are interested in applying for federal funding, it is a requirement mandated by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, or also known as HUD. So, it is a requirement for those communities to conduct the PIT count each year so that they can be eligible to apply for that funding. Kind of like I mentioned before, it's very valuable data because it helps us understand the trends of homelessness in the local areas, those characteristics of the individuals experiencing homelessness, and then it helps us figure out potentially what types of new programs we need to be providing the homeless individuals in our community with to make sure that they are moving from homelessness into permanent housing. It also is just a great opportunity to provide awareness for those community members who may not be familiar with, this particular situation. It's great, just, education, and it raises political awareness and just getting everybody on the same page and trying to figure out ways to work together to end homelessness as a community. Alrighty, so now looking a little bit deeper at what the shelter count specifically is. So HUD defines sheltered homeless individuals as adults, children, and unaccompanied children who on the night of the count are living in shelters for the homeless. So, regardless of the funding source, all providers of shelters and transitional housing need to be surveying and providing information on those that are staying in their facilities on that particular night. So, this year, our point in time date is going to be January 25th, 2018. So, who should you be counting on January 25th? You should make sure that you're counting those that are in emergency shelters, including domestic violence shelters, and also hotel, motels, or apartment that are paid for by a public or private agency because the are our family are homeless. And then also those that are staying in transitional housing. And who should you not be counting on January 25th, 2018. Persons that are living in doubled up situations, formerly homeless individuals who are receiving the following type of assistance, persons who are living in conventional housing and receiving temporary assistance, children or youth who may be in foster care or in detention facilities, and also adults in mental health facilities, chemical dependency facilities, or criminal justice facilities. So, as you can see, the list that you really need to be concerned about is much shorter. So, just make sure all those individuals who are in emergency shelter and transitional housing are the ones that are being surveyed on January 25th, 2018. Now I want to go over a few tips. So it's very important that you all first register and create an account in the Counting Us app. And this doesn't matter whether you're going to be using your phone and using the mobile app, or if you're going to be using the web browser and actually conducting the surveys on the computer. It's the exact same registration process. So right now, the Simtech Solutions, so those are the creators of this particular app, they have created a test code for us where you can actually, once you've registered your account, you can go in to the app and play around and actually conduct surveys and make sure that you're comfortable with using it by using the code TXBOSTEST. And I'll walk you in more detail through this when towards the end of the training when we are actually talking about the app. But I do want to make a note of how important it is to make sure that you all are comfortable with asking the questions and just making sure that you feel at ease with how to use the app itself. I know it is a transition from using the paper surveys now to kind of a more digital format, so we just want to make sure that everybody is aware of how to use it and feels comfortable with doing so. Also, as always, making sure that you are talking to your pit lead or getting in touch with myself if you have any concerns before the day of the count. We want to make sure that we have all of the doubts and questions cleared up before the actual day of the count so that on January 25th everything can run as smoothly as possible. And then lastly, we are going to, in the next slide, be talking about the quick services, but I just wanted to make it known that we want to make sure that everybody who is conducting a survey with you also gets a service in HMIS for tracking purposes. So now we're going to, in the next slide, talk about the quick service. So you will be entering in a service for every individual who completes a survey. And our awesome HMIS team who creates so many great videos, they actually created a video about this. So we're going to take a look at the video right now just so that you can become familiar with how to enter a quick survey. If you just want to go on our YouTube site, it's also on there as well. I know many people are familiar with that, but you can also just watch it here. And let's go ahead and take a look.
In this video, we're going to cover the Quick Services for Multiple Clients menu option. This menu option is found on the Home workspace under My Client track, hover over Quick Services, and then click on Quick Services Multiple Clients. This page allows you to quickly add one service to multiple clients in a program. This is especially useful if you have a large volume of clients who receive the same service and you need to add it to their records quickly. You will need to select a service screen. For this example, I will click on Direct Services. Then select your service. You can change the service state, units, and unit value, but for now I'm going to leave these at their default. Then select the program enrollment. The page will refresh, and you should see all the clients that are currently enrolled in that program. From here, check off all the clients that received that service. You can even check them all off at the same time by clicking on the checkbox at the very top of the column. Once you're through selecting all the clients who got that service, click Save and Close on the bottom right. You have now added that single service to all of your selected clients.
Okay. So that is how you are entering a quick service. Like I mentioned before, you can also go on YouTube and find that video. I do want to point out that on the day of the count, the service that you will be selecting will just say Pitt Survey. So I know Victoria provided a different example in the video, but just so you know, to make sure that you're looking for Pitt Survey on the day of the count and selecting that. And now we are going to be actually looking at how you can run a Pitt report. So the Pitt report is going to be run by your HMIS admin, and the purpose of the Pitt report is to allow your admin to be able to reconcile the information that is entered into HMIS, so those services, with the Pitt summary that we here at THN will be sending the Pitt lead and potentially the HMIS admin, so that they can make sure that all the numbers are looking the same. So we did in years past have some, shelters where the numbers weren't lining up with how many people were enrolled versus how many people conducted the Pitt surveys. So in order to kind of create a solution to that problem, we have come up with this Pitt report, and I'm now going to show you how to run the Pitt report.
Alrighty, so once you have logged into Client Track, we're going to go ahead and go into Reports. Then we're going to hover over HMIS Reports, and then you'll see here HUD point in time. So we'll click on that. It will then bring us to this particular form. Here we're going to select the date. Luckily, it's an easy date to remember, right? We all remember it's January 25th, 2018. And right now it has selected Texas Homeless Network. It should, oops, I'm sorry. Okay, great. And you can also filter by program if you'd like, but it's not mandatory. The only required field that it's asking right now is this, but you don't need to worry about that because it won't be there on the date of the count. And then you're going to hit report. And once you do that, it's going to provide you with this type of a PDF. So as you can see, it does a great job of breaking down the information based on the type of sheltered location that you entered in information for. So this is just a really good tool to use once you have completed all of the Pitt surveys and are able to then kind of reconcile the numbers with the Pitt summary report that we will be sending you all. So it's a very easy report to run. And you do end up with this great report generated at the end that gives you a lot of wonderful information.
So now we are going to lastly look at the Counting Us app. So I'm going to now walk you through how to register an account and also walk you through the process of how to use the app itself. Okay, so now we are going to learn how to use the Counting Us app. Before we jump right into it, I do want to just take a note of a couple things. So for those of you who choose to conduct the surveys via the mobile app, you will need to download it either via Google Play or iTunes Store. And then you'll be able to have it on your device. Also, for those of you who are doing the mobile app, just know that the only time you'll actually need internet is when you are downloading the app and when you are submitting saved surveys. So you can actually move through the survey without actually being online or using your data. And also for those of you who are going to be using your computer and you need the web link to access a survey, this is the web link up here in the left hand corner. So it's counting.us. So that's what you'll be entering into your browser to get you to the survey page. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and start. So the first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to register an account. So you'll click here. You're going to want to fill out all the information that it's asking you for. Please do make sure to enter in a cell phone number. That way the PIT coordinator has the ability to contact you if need be. Just so make sure that this is a cell phone number or a number that you'll be able to easily answer. So once you enter in all this information, you're going to want to submit the registration, and then you'll go back to the main page. So you're going to enter in your information, enter in your password, and then you're going to log in. So the next screen that it's going to take you to is to choose account. So then it's going to say you don't have any existing accounts, so you're going to want to join a new account. So what you're going to be entering here as your setup key is TXBOSTEST. So that is the account that we are going to be using for right now. And just so you know, this is a test account like it says, so please go in and, complete as many surveys as you want, make as many mistakes as you want. Since this is a test account, nothing's going to go live, so feel free to play around. So then you're going to hit Join Count, and then it says you are now counting for Texas BOS test, so we know that it successfully added us to that account. Now that we've created our account, we're going to go ahead and move forward, and we're going to click on Get Started. On this page, you're going to see that it provides you with two different options. For the shelter account, we are just going to be working with this HUD PIT interview option. So we're going to click on that. It'll then prompt us and ask us whether we are serving an individual or a household, so we'll choose accordingly. I'm going to choose an individual for this example. It's then going to take us to a location page. So if you have permissions allowed on your mobile device or your computer for it to actually ping exactly where you are, then you can go ahead and hit next step, and then it will capture your exact location. If for some reason you're either not at the location where the facility is, or you do not have those permissions allowed on your device or your mobile device or your computer, you can actually enter the address in here. And we would like you to please do that just so that we can track where the surveys are coming from. So here you can go ahead and enter in the shelter or the transitional housing facility address, the city, and the state. And then once you do that, it'll actually change the screen to where you currently have marked as your address, and then you can go ahead and hit next step. So this page is where you are going to be associating the survey with your particular organization and the particular project. So this first list on the day of the count, you're going to see a lot of different organizations that are listed here. So right now we just have two, so I'm going to use the example of Texas Homeless Network. And then by choosing the organization, it's then going to narrow down the project. So it's only going to associate the projects that are with the Texas Homeless Network organization. So I'll go ahead and click here. And then so the only project I have to choose from is the shelter, THN shelter. So once I do that, I'm going to hit next step. And now it takes us to the actual survey. Before we get started on the survey, I do want you all to be aware of the fact that an individual may not feel comfortable answering all of these questions, but please do attempt to ask all of the questions. The one that we really need to move forward is something within the age range. That's the only one that is truly required to submit the survey. But all the other questions are optional, but we encourage you to try to get as much information as possible. So as you can see here, the survey is quite short. I'll go ahead and just do a quick scroll so you can see the whole survey. And the majority of the questions have drop downs, which makes it really nice. So you can just easily click your answer based on what the individual is telling you. just for deduplication purposes, for data quality, it would really be helpful if we could get at least the individual's initials and some sort of date range age range for that information so that we can, on our end, if necessary, figure out if there are any duplicate clients that are in the system. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit more of the survey. So you see just, basic demographic questions here at the beginning, lots of drop downs. We also see here you have some check boxes where you can choose a particular appropriate answer. And here are some more, homeless status questions, things of that nature. And the last part of the survey that I wanted to address is this notes section portion. So you'll see here you have plenty of space to write things, and please do take full advantage of this space. And if you feel that you want to document any particular information, say somebody has a serious, a physical disability that you want to make sure that you add a little bit more information about here, please go ahead and do that. You will have the ability to access this information after it is submitted. So, like I mentioned before, take full advantage of it. Write any information that you feel is pertinent to this particular client. And then after you complete the survey with the individual, you're going to go ahead and submit the survey. If for some reason you are working offline and you do not have internet, you'll go ahead and save a draft. Now I'm going to show you what that looks like, but first I need to at least enter in an age range. So to do that. So now we're going to go ahead and hit save draft because say I don't have internet. And then it'll take us back to this page where we saw those two options. And if you can see here, it'll have drafts at the bottom. And so depending on how many surveys you complete, you'll see that the number of surveys will equate to the number of drafts that are here. So what you can do is once you do have internet access again, you'll go and click on that drafts. You'll click on that on a specific survey, and then you'll hit open draft, and then you will see the information that you completed. For this example, obviously we don't have a lot of the information here, just that age range. But I can go ahead and actually submit it, say that that's all that individual was able to give me. So I can submit the survey, and it gives me that it has been successfully submitted. And then we can go back, and now as you can see here, that one is gone. So the only caveat about the drafts portion of the app is that since each survey is specifically tied to a number, you'll have to individually submit the drafts. So you can't just do like one mass submission for all of the drafts that are in this folder. So you'll have to actually click on each individual one and submit it. Now, once you've done that, we want to make sure that everything that is on our device has been submitted and sent in, and then you're actually done with your job. So as I mentioned before, it is a pretty easy process once you get the hang of it. So please, I encourage you all to create an account ahead of time and actually go into this Texas BOS test and play around just to make sure that you feel comfortable with how to use the app. Now I just want to thank you all so much for not only listening to the training, but also for all the hard work that you do on a daily basis and all the hard work that you're going to do on January 25th, 2018. So from all of us here at THN, thank you so much for everything that you do, and we really appreciate you all.